Hey guys, it's the Addi Queen, and I am live streaming. I thought it would be so fun to sit here and knit and hopefully, comments, concerns, whatever's going on. I'm going to be working on a reversible hat, and I will be using this Red Heart Gray right here. My Addi, here, wait, let me make this full screen. There we go. My Addi really loves this yarn. And I'm going to use this for one side, and for the other side I am going to use Painted Canyon. So to start, I'm going to reset my row counter, and I'm going to cast on. And as you guys know, to cast on, you just wrap the yarn around every other peg. Alright, since this is a reversible hat, I am going to be doing 70 rows of this, and then I'm going to do 30 to 40 rows of the Painted Canyons. If you are watching and you have any questions, comments, concerns, or just something you'd like to talk about, feel free to comment in the live chat. I will be viewing that. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Alright, 3 rows down. One aggravating thing about using balls of yarn is that sometimes the tension's too tight, so I always like strip my balls. See, I took that off of the ball. Just kind of do this to keep the tension low. You know, I don't know, might help, might not, but it's just a habit that I've gotten into. See, now there's like no tension at all. For some reason, my Addi, like, it does not like the variegated Red Heart yarns, but this yarn is a solid color. It is Red Heart. It's weight 4, and my Addi's completely fine with it. Fun fact, I did a craft show at my local historical society, and there was this lady there, and she was selling some yarn. I got a whole trash bag of yarn there for $7, and it was like the plush baby blanket yarn that you crochet with and stuff. And then I went in the historical society because they were selling stuff too, and I actually got this yarn for 25 cents. So I think I made out pretty good on that one. You see what I'm doing with this hand right here? I am actually pulling down all of my stitches, that way it doesn't drop any. I don't know, sometimes my Addi drops stitches and it's so annoying. I know this happens to everybody. That doesn't make it any less frustrating, so I know your guys' struggle. I'm already at 15 rows. See, like right there, I took my hand away and it tried to drop it. There we go. So, what are you guys up to today? Anything interesting, or I don't know. It is beautiful weather here where I live. I actually went on a hike this morning, and it was so pretty. The leaves are just now starting to change. It was beautiful. I'm going to move this, that way you can actually see it. There we go. Oh, I got a big tangle. See, I hate this. There we go. I could never work with a cranky or a drill attachment with my Addi just because I am so disorganized with my yarn. That's one of my biggest faults with knitting is my yarn just goes everywhere. See, here's another tangle. Ugh. At least it's not like big knots. It just like gets wrapped around itself. Already time to take some more off the ball. See, I really need to not roll my skeins into balls. When I was first learning to crochet, my grandmother, of all people, was teaching me. I was about 8 years old. We were laying in her bed in the middle of the night, and I'm like, hey, I want to learn to crochet. And she said, okay, I'll show you. And so after that, I kind of got a little interested into it. It wasn't really something I was that passionate about, but they had a crochet club at school. And I thought I was so cool knowing how to crochet. So I went to crochet club and I bought yarn, you know. Being 8 or 9, I really didn't have my own money, so my grandma would take me yarn shopping. And she taught me you always want to unroll your yarn and put it in a ball. That way it doesn't get tangled, you can store it easier. And I don't know, ever since then, whether I bought yarn with her or on my own, I've always felt the need to roll it into a ball. I don't know why. It just happens that way. Alright, I'm at 34 rows. I am so overwhelmed and happy with the support I've gotten on YouTube so far. If you look at my channel, you'll see I haven't been uploading that long, maybe 3 or 4 months. I'm not that sure. I uploaded a fitness video this summer with one of my friends, and then I just kind of left it. And then I'm like, I'm going to put my knitting on here. And I'm almost up to 300 subscribers already, so I am so happy. I feel super lucky to have you guys, and, you know, I hope that my content can help you. At the end of the day, that is my goal. I want to help others because when I first got my loom knitting machine, I was so lost. It took me forever to learn. And now that I've learned and taught myself a bunch of stuff, I'm hoping that I can teach other people too. I don't know, that might be a little cheesy, but I really genuinely do want to help you guys. That's why I decided I'd do this live, you know, just to see if you had any questions or anything going on. There we go. Almost dropped a stitch. Thankfully, sometimes like when you drop or tuck a stitch, it's one in like 100 rows. You have one stitch dropped in 100 rows. It's not that noticeable. You know, it's not that bad. 45 rows. We're getting closer. I'm excited. This is my first time making a hat with painted canyons. And I am in a knitting group with a bunch of ladies from all over the world. And we all have Addis or Cinches, or there's some ladies that have Jamit. They have the loops and thread machines. There's all different kinds of knitting machines in the group. But these ladies love the Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn painted canyons. And I thought I'd give it a try, you know. I made one hat out of it, and I used a blue base, blue brim, you know, blue inside. I thought it looked really good with gray, so after I finish this, I guess we'll see. I think I'm going to keep this one for myself, so I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to make it 70 rows instead of 75. Just my head's not that big. You know, when you make stuff for yourself, you kind of adjust it just to your preference. It may stray from what you usually do. Yay, I'm at 59 rows. I only have 11 more. I don't know why, but sometimes when I knit, I get so annoyed and like sick of using one color. I don't know. I just really want to switch. That's why I've made like a bunch of scrappy projects. I've made my scrap aftons, my scrap baby blanket, and all kinds of stuff. There. My loom keeps trying to move, go off the screen. I apologize for that. I also need to scoot back some. There we go, guys. I think I'm finally figuring this out. The view on my computer is a little delayed, so I have troubles seeing what you see exactly at the moment you see it. I'm not sure how delayed it is on your side, but I've got about a 10-second delay. $67, $68. Oh, I dropped my ball. $69, $70. Okay, I'm gonna reach back here and get my scissors. I'm gonna cut like a decent sized tail. It doesn't really need to be that long when you're making a reversible hat because it's gonna be inside of your hat. Doesn't affect anything, it just kind of sits here. I'm gonna bend down here, grab my painted canyon. See, I don't know. I think this is really pretty dye pattern. Alright, I'm gonna knit a row. And I always go slow when I switch colors just because sometimes it's different textures and stuff and your Addi needs to readjust. Like, not even readjust, just get used to it. Okay, I knitted like a row and a couple pegs. So I'm going to tie these two together. There we go. I'll pick up my skein and put it in my lap too. See, isn't this just so pretty? I think it's super beautiful. Alright, my cat decided to show up, I see. He's chilling back there. He's in trouble right now. We found that he left some Lincoln Logs not inside the sandbox. That's not very good. But we got things straightened out. Since I made the inside / brim color 70 rows, I think I'm going to make this one 40 rows. Most adult reversible hats, most people do 120 rows. So since my head's a little smaller, I'm doing 110 rows total. I got lucky at the end of my painted canyons, you know, it was gray and white, and that really blended with my gray pretty well. My Addi's not the biggest fan of this yarn, but I rubbed it with a dryer sheet, and it seems to be doing better since I've done so. Also, if you have issues with yarn, you can put it in a bag, like a mesh bag that has holes in it, and put it in the dryer. And that gets rid of some of the sag and makes it more usable. This is just such a beautiful colorway. I'm surprised I haven't used it sooner, honestly. I don't know, part of me, I get really cheap, and I don't buy yarn at Hobby Lobby. I usually buy yarn at Joann's because I have a 4-H discount, because I was in 4-H, and they send me coupons. So a lot of times I shop there because they have more sales and stuff too. But sometimes I go to Hobby Lobby. Recently I found that I like their Yarn Bee Katarina. It's a DK weight yarn, so it's super thin. Thinner than what I usually use, and my Addi loved it. Like, it just knitted so easily. It was so fun to work with. I bought 6 skeins of that. It was the same day I bought this, and the first night I already used all 6 skeins. I made headbands out of them. It was crazy. I knitted so much that night. I was just so happy. Because as you can tell right here, I'm struggling a little bit, and that's just because the yarn is thick. I'm going slow so I don't drop stitches. I don't know, dropped and tucked stitches are not fun to deal with. So, in my opinion, going a little slower in order to avoid them is worth your time. Just so you don't have to deal with, like, trying to fix them. Oh my gosh, that's the worst. "96 rows. Looks like weird. See, right here, there's like, I know you can't see this very well. There's a little teeny tiny, like, shredded piece of yarn that was still tucked up in the peg. And if I was going fast, I may not have caught on to that as soon as I did. I have dropped some stitches though. But I kind of learned to expect that with this yarn. My Addi does not like it. But I just think it's beautiful. I don't know, you know how it is? Sometimes you work through stuff that's not the most ideal just because you like the way it looks. Kind of like men, am I right? Ooh. I'm just kidding. Alright. At 102 rows. So I'm almost done with my knitting. Yay! Okay, I changed my mind. I'm doing 115. I just want to make sure there's enough of the painted canyons. That way the brim's not most of the top of the hat. Hopefully I don't regret my decision. I don't think I will. Alright, I'm doing my last row, and it's very important on your last row, and every row, that you don't drop stitches. But if you drop stitches on your last row, it makes it really hard to take your project off. I'm going to leave a pretty decent tail, like that. Toss aside the skein, what's left of it. There's not very much left. Alright. Take my yarn out of the yarn feeder. And when I take hats off, I run my Addi through empty once. And then thread this onto my yarn needle. Just go ahead and take all these little guys off of the pegs. There we go. See, okay, here's a good example. You know, I dropped a stitch on number 8 right here. So as you can see, there's no loop for me to pick up. And if I don't pick up a loop for that, it will unravel. So you actually just have to, like, go forward, then backwards again. It's a little annoying. That's why I try to avoid it, just to save me some time. Oh, I almost lost him. There we go. Ah! Got it. This is why, like, when I take projects off the loom, I usually mute myself in my videos just because I make, like, weird noises. I don't know. Do you guys make any weird noises when you knit, or is it just a me thing? Like, I don't know. Sometimes I just make noises and it makes things better. Makes my project go smoother. I don't know. I might be crazy. Okay, I'm a little over halfway taking this off. This is peg number 29 right here, so we're getting there, taking care of business. Whoa, I lost that little stitch. Man, I'm a mess today. There we go, I got it. It's all safe. Phew. I'm sorry for sneezing, my goodness. My allergies are acting up. It's really dusty because we haven't gotten a lot of rain lately. 39, 40. 5 more pegs. Almost got this off of the loom. Oh, last one. Oh, all right. I'm gonna move this out of the way and scoot up. There we go. I think you can see this pretty well. So I'm gonna pull this tight. And when I'm closing a hat, I try my best to like tuck all the ruffles inside. That way you can have a tighter hole when you close. All right. I am putting this in here. I'm gonna tie it like that. So you can hardly even see my little knot. Go through here, tie it the same way. There we go. And since this is a reversible hat, I'm gonna leave this tail on here because I'm gonna use it. All right, I come to this end, find the yarn I started with, and when you pull that, it cinches up your cast on end, which is really handy. Then I'm tucking in my extra. There we go. That's a pretty tight hole. Looking pretty good. Okay. I'm putting this in here. I'm starting to think my audio is not on because my last live stream was like little chickens hatching and I had the audio off. So I'm hoping I turned it on. I forget if I did or not. Oops. It'd be kind of weird if I didn't. Alright. Just like the other side, I am tying this tight. I'll do twice on this side too. Just once. And twice. A nice cute little knot. And because it's the same color, you can barely even see it. Like, you have to be looking to see it. This is a really long tail. I'm going to trim it before I do my work. There we go. So now I'm going to tuck the gray inside of this painted canyon. And this, like, I want to call it a butt. Like, that's what I call it, the butt, where I just sewed up. We want to make that one line up with this one in here. So you kind of want to feel around. Make sure they line up. I think they are. I think that's pretty good. I'll flip this back here. I'm going to put my yarn needle on this gray yarn. So I'm going to use the gray to sew it together first. I'm going to go ahead and stick it through the hole. I'm going to reverse this. Give me a second. I'm sorry. I'm kind of slow at this part. Alright. Yep, I stuck it through. That's a pretty good hole there. And pull it the rest of the way through. Then I'm gonna just go over one little thread of yarn and push it back. Because the gray is a different color, you want to make smaller stitches. That way it doesn't show on your hat. See, you can't even see where that gray was, like hardly at all if you can. Right, I'm gonna come back up again. Do a little small piece. And we're good. All right. I'm gonna take my yarn needle off. Put it on this painted canyon. Flip my hat, and I'm going to do the same thing, but on this side. I put my hand in here. There we go. Again, I'm just going to poke my needle through. Make a small little stitch. Pull it back. Then we'll put it through one more time. And I'm going to pull this all the way through. Now I'm going to tie my gray and my like coral pink together. Just going to tie, you know, a classic little knot. And then I'm going to trim these to where they're the same length. Put them both on my yarn needle. And then, since like you can't see in between the two layers, I'm going to tuck this in between the two layers of the hat. Just in case something goes wrong or I need to work on the hat, I'll have a little bit of extra yarn to give me some leeway. And pull that through the rest of the way. There we go. And I'm going to trim it, and just that little bit that's left. Pull this tight. See, now I could either have this gray hat and fold it up and have like a gray brim like that, right? That's kind of cute. Or I could have this Painted Canyons hat, fold it up and have a gray brim. I'm excited to wear this. No, I think it's beautiful fallish colors. Alright, with that, I think I'm going to end this live. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Happy crafting!